Metrofile provides paper and electronic record management services to the corporate and public sector. The Mine Workers Investment Company has a 33% equity interest in the company. It has a market cap of 1.5 billion rand, a price to earnings ratio of 18, and a dividend yield of 1.5%. I must admit, I don't know much about Metrofile, so I'm going to hoping that you're going to fill me in.
Well, it was an interesting story because there was a company called MGX back in the 1990s, which was a real high flyer. And they just bought companies, they merged up a whole lot of different entities. In the dot-com boom, of course, everything to do with technology was just going absolutely wild. But they incurred a lot of debt because they were basically funding these acquisitions through cash buyouts of entrepreneurs who started operations. They merged with EC Hold, and then the whole thing came crashing down. And at the end of the day, there was only one business in the entire stable that made any money, and that was Metrofile, because they were doing boring stuff like carting off people's documents and putting them in warehouses. So ever since 2001, they've been paying off the debt. For some reason or another, they didn't declare bankruptcy. They decided they were going to dig themselves out of the hole. Even today, they've still got a debt-to-equity ratio of over 60%, and they've just inched their way out of the hole 1 year after the other.
This doesn't sound like an extremely exciting investment story.
But to give them credit, document management, as you know, has become a major new thing.
And storage is crucial.
Storage is crucial, document management is crucial. If you look at it, look at the FSB coming out with new regulations on data storage, and this is one of the things that they're focusing on. They've also opened huge operations in Midrand to expand on the increased Midrand business there. So the capacity to store data and data and documents is ever increasing. So I think they've got a good model. They've also got a very good business in Mozambique.
And besides inching themselves out of the hole, they're inching themselves up on the share price graph. Let's have a look at that. Inch up,
yeah, look,
all the way.
They'd recovered quite nicely, and then in 08, 09 with everyone else, they kind of came a bit of a cropper. But since then, you're right, regaining ground. Because nowadays, of course, it's all about digitization of paper records, and then storage thereof, and then the speedy retrieval in businesses, for FICA and RICA and all of that stuff.
For all the legal compliance issues that we have to deal with.
And now data security. So companies are prepared to pay a lot more in order to have their client data kept secure. So they're in a good position, but they are still, a fairly modest operation.
I want Travis's comments on this share price graph.
Yeah, it's had a nice rise. I think there's potential for more upside personally.
Nice little kicker here towards the end.
Nice little kick. What we, they've had a good set of results in the end of, the interim results in December 2011. So, like I said, good operations in Mozambique, and they look like they're expanding in South Africa quite gradually. And good operations. I don't think it's a bad company. I think there's a need for this.
Absolutely. Nobody wants their documents stored in their homes or in their offices.
Well, from a FICA and a compliance and from a legal point of view, you've got major legislation around this, and it's ever increasing. And for us in the financial industry, you're allowed to keep your documentation off-site. You have to keep it for a period of 5 years or greater, 5 to 7 years. So there's a need for this business. And since the legislation, this business seems to be in demand.
Who are the competitors out there?
I don't know. I know they are the market leader in this country, but I think there are other people that offer different document management solutions that are in the other environments. So companies like EOH and Business Connection and so on do similar kind of things.
You can transfer your data into an electronic format, which I think is something that a lot of people are looking at as an alternative
but there's no direct competition to Metrofile that you know of, Travis?
Not that I know of. Like I said, I don't know that sector too well, but not that I know of at the moment. Yeah.
Look, one of the characteristics of business now, though, is that a lot of things are now being done electronically from scratch. So the initial capturing of the record is done electronically. So the paper generation first up, I think, is going to be phased out and be replaced with electronic signatures.
Does that mean that their business model will come to a quick end?
No, I just think it means it just changes, and so their core competencies are changing, but I think that's fine. They're on top of this opportunity.
Right, Metrofile, hot or not, Travis?
I like it. I think it's hot. I think it's got good potential.
And hot or not, Mr. Paul Tuan?
Yeah, look, I think they are going to continue to thrive, but at 22 cents of earnings for the half year, I think they're fairly full for a company of this scale. So I'm going to go with not hot.
Not hot.